Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. The IPL time is back and our previews time is back. We will be starting our string of reviews of all the previews of all the teams. We're going to start off with the champions of last year, Mumbai Indians. A pretty settled side. They didn't do much in the auction as well. They have their best 11. They just needed some additions, and which they added to. I thought a couple of decent buys in there as well. But this Mumbai Indian side looking very strong as usual. Musti and me will be discussing the Mumbai Indian side. Musti, your thoughts on this side?
Bro, as soon as I woke up today, I opened Instagram. I saw Rohit Sharma doing an ad for Star Sports, and he's like, what was it? I forgot what it was. But basically, he's like, you need to be more greedy and more thing. He wants the sixth cup, and there's something with the IPL, man. I'm just really excited. My favorite format is Test cricket, but the IPL, something happens. It's just a carnival atmosphere. So really excited, and we're doing this. Mumbai Indians, I think we're analyzing the Mumbai Indians. They're historically the best team in the IPL, the most successful team. And man, I don't know. Again, this year I'm going to say the same thing. I feel that this year they might not win it, but I always say that, and it doesn't happen. You know, that odd year, even year thing is done as well. They broke that curse last season. Like you said,
you've been wrong only 5 out of 10 times so far.
Yeah, I've been wrong 5 out of 10 times. I don't know. I just feel that, like, you know, what is it? Like, what do you call that? Like when it's just luck runs out and done, you're going to lose, you know, but it's just not happening. I think, you know what the thing is? They have an amazing Indian core, but their foreign players are underrated. The foreign Indian core, they gel well brilliantly. I think that's the key to this team. The likes of Quinton de Kock and Pollard, the way they complement Ishan Kishan and Hardik Pandya, that's the key, I think. And Bumrah and Bolt, like, without Bolt, like, you need them together. Like, you know, Bolt played a magnificent role. I just feel this season we're back in India. I know I said this last time, but, you know, historically, if you do look at the numbers, fast bowlers do better in the United Arab Emirates than in India. So I think spinners will play a bigger role in this season, especially with the heat and as the games go on. And that's where Mumbai lacked. But we said this all season last year. It didn't happen. But yeah, I still feel that's the thing. But yes, overall, well set aside. Again, favorites to win it. And yeah, man, you can't say much about this team. They probably have a settled lineup. If you want to run through the ideal 11, I'm sure we'll agree 1 or 2 changes here and there. Depending on form, they still have players on the bench. Man, they have Chris Lynn in their team, bros. They have Chris Lynn in their team. So they have a lot of options. Yeah.
100%. I completely agree with you. And like you said, I mean, this is the we can talk about the ideal 11, but before we do that, I just feel like we should really quickly touch up on the strengths and the weaknesses of the side, and then we'll like end it off with the ideal 11. So like you said, Chris Lynn in their side. So for me, in my opinion, the strengths of the side is in the Indian core. Like you said, I mean, they have 5 or 6 players who are playing for the Indian team, not only the Mumbai Indians. They're playing for the Indian team. So the likes of Suryakumar and Kishan have made their debuts now. The Pandya brothers are there. Bumrah is there. Rohit Sharma is there. That's 6 players right there, you know. And all of them have been playing consistently for India. Of course, I mean, Suryakumar and Kishan have got their ODI debuts now. Are their debuts now? But then Rohit Sharma is an important player in the team. Hardik Pandya, Jasprit Bumrah. These three are mainstays of Indian cricket, right? So you can see that is their strength. So, you know, it's like they're just going in from one blue to another blue. It's not a lot of change for them. So for me, that is, of course, the most important aspect that is in their favor. And in terms of the weakness, for me, I think the spin department, like we mentioned, that they have not really gone out and found like I feel like a few teams who've done well, like for example, Rashid Khan or some for that matter, you know, he's a proper spinner. Like, you know, the likes of Chahar have not raised those standards that are expected of a mainstay spinner. So for me, that is maybe a small what you might call it, a weakness, but I don't see any other real weakness. But your thoughts on strengths and weaknesses?
Yeah, I think your points are exactly, they're like, I was thinking the same thing. But the only thing with Rahul Chahar, I think, like I said, in the last tournament, I think he did a good job, but fast bowlers they contributed more. So I think that eased the pressure off him. Over here, I think he'll have more of a role. So how he's going to play under pressure if he gets hit for 3-4 sixes? Will he come back? You know, will he have that mentality? I think he bowled decently for India at the T20s, but that'll give him a lot of confidence. But still, I think I agree with you. Even if he does bowl well, I think they still need another spinner. I don't know if Krunal Pandya can do that job, to be honest with you. I've seen him. His batting is excellent. Bowling, I think he's vulnerable, Krunal Pandya, especially after what Stokes did. It will dent his confidence, to be honest with you. And one more more thing about their fast bowlers. You said that was a concern. Another concern is that, like we said this before also, but the injury to one of their fast bowlers.
Yeah.
Rohit Sharma was injured last time, no issues. Pollard captaincy, Ishan Kishan came in, no problem. But if Bumrah or Bolt, one of them get injured, I think the backup over there, like you have Coulter now, you have Adam Milne, you have, but the Indian backup. So, for example, if Bumrah has to sit out, then who do you have? You have Kulkarni. There's a big difference there. So I think they'll have to watch out on that. I think, but you can't assume that. The only reason I'm assuming it is because it's a long tournament, right? And I was and you all have to factor these things in because they're such a good team. There's no other weakness, you know. So you have to look at the fine. I'm looking at the fine parts, you know. If this happens, if that happens, but otherwise, like you mentioned, their strengths is that Indian core. Plus Pollard in the middle order. It's an explosive middle order. They'll hit boundaries for fun. I think Ishan Kishan, Pollard, even Surya Kumar. You know, Surya Kumar was, I think, first or second in boundaries scored last. Yeah, he was second in boundaries scored last season. He had like 61 boundaries forced. And Ishan Kishan was, I think, the second highest. No, he was the highest six hitter last season. So it just shows that, you know, aggressive batsmen all around. And if you have the likes of Pollard and Hardik Pandya to finish and Krunal Pandya, what more do you want? So I think if Rohit Sharma is fit and he plays throughout the tournament, his captaincy is next level, his batting is next level, and I'm expecting some big runs from him as well.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. I think one other thing about this Mumbai Indian side, which is a big plus for them, is the three all-rounders in the middle, the Pandya brothers and Pollard. You know, the fact that they can actually bowl 12 overs and tonk it around in the park is a big plus. I don't think any other team has number 5, 6, 7 who can bat and bowl very well as these three can, you know. So that's a big plus for them.
And like if one of them has a niggle, the other guy will cover. So like Hardik Pandya didn't bowl at all last season, but Pollard covered for that. The season before, Pandya bowled much more than Pollard. So they cover for each other. I don't know, man. Will this be the last season we see them all three together? Because there's a big auction coming up. Plus Pollard, man, he's been there for 10 years. How long more will he last in Mumbai Indians? Credit to the owners. I think yes, you know, they have a explosive team. They have some great players. But one thing I would give them that they backed Pollard, because I think 3-4 years ago he had a torrid season and everyone said that they should let him go, but they backed him and he showed what he can do as a captain, as a batsman, as a fielder. So credit to the ownership in that sense. But I agree with that. 3 is a terrifying 3. How do you get them out, bro? That's one thing I wanted to ask you. Like with Hardik Pandya, will you bowl that short ball? Now he's aware that, you know, the targeting that England targeted it, so he's a bit aware of that. But you continue to target him there. With Pollard, do you bowl full wide? Because, you know, so that's, you know, teams will have to come up with strategies, but then they have to have a counter strategy as well, because these guys are such good batsmen. They play deep in the crease. So I don't know. Like,
every team's going to have to come up with plan A, B, and C for these guys. You know, I mean, it's hard enough that you play a top 4, which is a quality top 4, and then you have to face 5, 6, 7 with so much quality as well. So it's a very difficult batting lineup to go through. I mean, it's like you said, they are the favorites. They've been doing significantly well, and in another season where they are going firm that most teams will be worried about. So for sure, I think that there's a lot of extra game plans that would be required when you go on and face Mumbai Indians. So I think with that being said, I think in terms of strength and weaknesses, we can just go. In my opinion, the ideal 11 is what I'll talk about, and then maybe you can just bring up any other decisions that you might want to change. But for me, Rohit and Quinton to open the batting. Surya Kumar, Kishan, and Pollard at 3, 4, and 5. The Pandya brothers at 6 and 7. Coulter Nile at 8, 9, Chahar, Bumrah 10, Bolt 11.
I got the same idea.
I guess this is most of the time that they played even this team even last year, because it's a proper settled 11. We spoke about the starting of the show as well. It's a proper settled 11. They just needed to add backups. And they probably bought in like Jimmy Neesham in case Pollard's injured, and they have Lynn if they don't want to play. Yeah, they got in Jimmy Neesham just because Pollard's injured. Only if they don't want to play Pollard.
I just checked and I saw they got Piyush Chawla as well. So there is
exactly. I was just going to say that extra spin option when Piyush Chawla, if Chahar gets tonked around a little bit, and if they want to go in with an absolute explosiveness, if Quinton de Kock's not playing that well, you know, sometimes he goes through a slump of form. So you can bring in Lynn and you can have Kishan wicket keep, you know. So they have that option available. They have the likes of Saurabh Tiwari, who's not the greatest. He kind of blows hot and cold, but he's an option in the middle order as well if they want a break for any of the guys. So they have a good settled 15, 16 players that they can keep rotating around as well. You know, they have that availability of players, and then they have some youngsters who they can always bank on if need be, if the situation does arise. So I think there's a proper sorted 11. Not a lot to change for them over there, but your player to watch out for in the Mumbai Indians side.
In the Mumbai Indians side, the player to watch out for is bro, Surya Kumar Yadav.
I was just gonna say the same name. Bro, sky's the limit for him. He's just been so good.
He's impressed me because, I've seen a lot of talent in the IPL. They've killed it. So has he. But then to do the same thing in India against England, that's a big thing. Because look at Rishabh Pant, look at other players as well. They've found it difficult. But him and Ishan Kishan, I don't know what it is, man. They just killed it like in the first game. Yes, consistency will be key. And I want to see, like, now that he's played that, he doesn't have that point to prove that I need to be in the Indian team. He's already in the Indian team now, I'm sure. And Virat Kohli's given him his position in a couple of the games. So now he has that confidence. What does he do with that confidence? How is he going to continue maintain that? Because now everyone will be expecting a lot from him. It's a different kind of pressure now. So how he's going to play it, I love to watch him bat, but it's also I want to see how he responds to this, to the success.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be very, very important. And like you said, I think the maturity, the fact that he's gotten into the team a little later has helped him in some ways. And now that he's in the Indian team, I mean, to take it to the next level, it's always hard because you've seen the likes of the greatest of the great batsmen, like the likes of Virat, the likes of Rohit Sharma, have taken their game to the next level. So I think that I would like to see from Surya Kumar. If he wants to be a regular in the Indian team, I think that would be the next challenge for him, and I think he has the capability to do that. So it's looking forward to that for sure. For me, Surya Kumar Yadav as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I just wanted to add a point. The last season, their top scorers were Ishan Kishan, Quinton de Kock, and Surya Kumar Yadav, right? And their positions were 5th, 6th, and 7th. So they weren't the highest scorers. Like, you had KL Rahul, David Warner, all these guys scoring more. But these guys, you had contributions. It wasn't just one guy getting the run. So I think that could be the method to their success because they don't rely on one person. Everyone chips in and makes it more difficult for the opposition. One guy scoring a 50, another thing. Ishan Kishan, I think, played that blinder against Bangalore where they lost in the super over. So they have somebody chipping in, I think. And another thing is that if you, in that top 10 list, apart from Dhawan and maybe one more player, nobody has a strike rate above than 140. But these guys all have strike rates above 140. Surya Kumar, Ishan Kishan, and de Kock. So they score at a quick pace. And they do that because they have the confidence in their lower order. You mentioned Pollard, Pandya, and what's his name? Krunal Pandya. So I think that gives them the confidence. It's a key to look at the strike rates because in T20, that's what you look at. You need to score runs at a quick pace, and they have that confidence because of the stacked batting lineup.
Exactly, I agree. I completely agree with you. That's the advantage of this Mumbai Indian side is like everyone keeps contributing. It's a team game. When all 11 have one good game, you win. You win more than you lose, and that's why they are the five-time champions. So it obviously helps. I mean, the credit to the management. They do a good job. They go all out for the guys they want, and they back them. Pollard a few seasons ago had a couple of poor seasons, but they still backed him, and he provided the goods in the last season and the season before that as well. They back their players and they go all out for them, and that's nice to see. So hats off to this management. Hats off to the team. Honestly, I'm a big Sunrisers fan, so I wouldn't want them to win, but I think that they'll make top 4 again. I think this season as well.
Oh yeah, we have to make up predictions. They're not making top 4 this season. I said this last year as well. I got it completely horribly wrong. All due respect, I think these guys are like the Man City of IPL. Like, amazing team to watch. They're always entertaining, but man, enough is enough. I think other teams need to step up, pull up their socks, and maybe take how Rajasthan played against them in one of the games where Stokes chased. I think take that as a template. I think if I'm not mistaken, Bolt and Bumrah played the game. At least one of them did. I know Bumrah did play that game. So maybe Bolt play him a bit more responsibly because they're trying to attack him, and that in-swinging ball gets every batsman out. So maybe play more sensibly, maybe attack Bumrah more. It's very easy to say, but I think, or you just, take them single double and then just attack the other bowlers. There has to be something and, put pressure on their bowlers. You have to put pressure on one opening bowler, then because the other bowlers are not as, on that level. So I'm just thinking out loud, man, because
I agree. I think the aggressive brand of cricket that England plays is probably a way to counter this solid side.
So Stokes, Butler,
and if exactly, the likes
Rajasthan,
of
baby.
Butler, Rajasthan, pretty much, maybe Johnny Bairstow with the Sunrisers up front, who knows, something like that,
100%.
just to like spoil their rhythm a little bit. I think if you let them get into their rhythm, then it becomes hard for them to lose. So just try something different and make them think a little bit, make them go to plan B, see if they have a solid plan B.
Yeah, and MS Dhoni now has a better team. We'll get to that in our next episodes. But I want to see how he captains the first game against Mumbai, what tactics he's going to use, because now he does have a better team than last season, I think, on paper. So how does he go about it? That'll be very interesting. But for that game, if I'm Rohit Sharma, I'm playing Jayant Yadav because there's 3-4 left-handers. So I think even though you don't need to trust the process like Arteta says, that's what Mumbai Indians do. But maybe use a matchup just to mix it up, because you don't want to be so predictable. You're the best team right now. You don't want to make it predictable and rely on everybody. Bring Jayant Yadav up, give him some confidence and say, bro, the left-handers, this is the matchup and you got to do the job for us. So mix it up, give other players confidence as well. That's it. But right now this team is stacked, man.
Yeah, looking interesting. We'll see how it goes. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. I'll catch you for the next team that we're going to do. But I think this sums up Mumbai Indians. You're saying top 4. I'm not saying top 4. You're probably correct as usual with your predictions. I like to be a bit risky. Find out. I like to be a bit risky. But if this have the starting 11 throughout the tournament, then it will be difficult to beat them. But you never know, man. It's a new season, new game. Can't wait.
Looking forward to it.
All right, man. Take care. Thank you.